Hi, and thank you for listening. This is Sherry Andrea, and I'm glad that you are joining me today and that you're listening. I thank you. Um, Today, what we're going to be talking about is you could call this part two to how to begin communicating with your guide. So now I've gotten you started, and you're beginning the one way conversation with your guide, and you're getting comfortable with that. Next, there are some other things that I need to let you know, such as what affects two-way conversation with your guide. There are two major things that affect it that I want to discuss. One being your vibrations, and the second one being how clear you are. The clarity that you have is what will determine whether or not you'll be able to get that communication and how clearly you'll be able to get it. How loud will you have to, loud will it have to be for you? Loud isn't maybe the right word to use because this implies that you're going to hear your guide speaking to you, and this may not be the case. How your guide is able to speak to you, how you're able to get that communication, is based on what abilities you have to use that are manifesting. If you do not have clairaudient abilities, well then obviously you're not going to hear anyone talking to you. If you do not have clairvoyant sight abilities, then obviously you're not going to see visions of anything, symbols. So depending on what you have going on is based on how you're going to be able to get that communication from your guide. Now that does not make it difficult for your guide. Your guide can still communicate with you. Just depends on how you can receive it. For some people, maybe they're, like for me, my strongest ability is clairsentience, which is the ability to feel energy. So the communication that I get, what I pick up most strongly, is the feelings. As I'm communicating with spirit, they may be able to make me feel my shoulders, and maybe I'm feeling my right shoulder. That may be telling me that whatever I'm talking to them about, I'm not feeling burdened by it. Maybe I'm feeling my left shoulder. Maybe whatever I'm discussing with them, they're expressing to me that thing, it's burdening me. It's making me feel burdened. It's acting like a burden in my life. Or maybe I'm discussing something with them, or even communicating with a friend and helping a friend, and I get my lower right leg, and that means that that signifies heading in the right direction. So whatever I'm discussing with them, or maybe whatever I've said, my thought process about it, I'm heading in the right direction. Or maybe I've said something to them, and they've said to me, oh, well, I'm not really sure about that. And then I get my right foot really strongly. That's my confirmation that, yes, in fact, what I've told them is, in fact, true. Now, whether they believe it or not, that's up to them. But I'm getting this confirmation through the communication. Now, that is the two-way communication. That is how my two-way communication most often goes, is via clairsentience, because that's my strongest ability that I have. However, I have all abilities. I also have clairaudience. But how my clairaudience manifests, that's the question. Okay, so sometimes I do hear something in my head. Sometimes I'll say to somebody, I just heard loud and clear this. Sometimes it's a song that comes to mind and starts playing in my head. That is a form of clairaudience. Or a phrase. Maybe I hear a popular quote or phrase in my head, a saying. That's also a form of clairaudience. Maybe suddenly I see something. Maybe I all of a sudden get a vision of an ocean and it's really choppy waters. Well, that would be telling me something about somebody's emotions. First of all, it's water. It has to do with somebody's emotions, and that choppy water may signify that they're going through really harsh negative emotions. Maybe they're upset. Whereas if I saw calm waters, it's very calm and very still, that would signify they're like in an emotionally good place. They're calm, balanced. So it depends on your own abilities that you have, how communication with your guide can manifest for you. Say you don't have psychic abilities, but you still want to be able to communicate with your guide as you're working on developing them. Then often your guide will attempt to communicate with you in other ways, maybe by sending you signs and symbols, the numbers you see on a clock, animals that all of a sudden will appear to you, a noise that you hear in your house, the lights flicker. I mean, all of these things are things that spirit guides can use to not only get your attention, but to communicate with you. But let's talk about, if you want to develop good communication, two-way communication with your spirit guide, let me tell you what you need to do next. You need to begin meditating. Starting out, no less than 15 minutes a day. Start meditating every day. And I'm talking about passive meditation, where you're not going to be thinking about anything. You're just going to be trying to quiet and still your mind. It may be difficult in the beginning. You may have a hard time and you may say, oh, well, I'm trying to meditate, but I just keep thinking about things and things keep coming to mind. This is what happens in the beginning. Your mind isn't used to being controlled. Your mind is used to doing whatever it wants, whenever it wants. So you're going to have to retrain your mind to be quiet. So every time a thought comes up, simply brush it away. Tell yourself, I'll deal with that later. Right now, I'm not going to think of anything. So try to quiet your mind, not think of anything. Just peace, stillness. Try to get to that place, because you have to be able to get to this place to be able to hear. There's this saying, and I actually don't know if it's actually something that's actually in the Bible or not. There are many sayings that, people claim to be in the Bible that are not, but the saying, be still and know that I am God. What that means is only in the stillness can you hear. You want to be able to hear spirit communicate with you? It's only in the stillness that you will be able to hear this. This does not mean that you have to go into meditation every time you want to talk to your guide, but you have to be able to train your mind so that your mind can be, you can get your mind to be still easily and quickly whenever you want to. So that's the first thing that I need you to work on. Every day, meditating. Now, during this meditation, you may start to see something. You may start to have visions. After maybe 5 minutes, after getting your mind to be still, you may start to see a scene of something. You don't have to be concerned with what it is in the beginning. Hey, it may be you may be seeing pieces of your past life. You may be seeing pieces of your future. You may be seeing pieces of an alternate parallel reality. Doesn't really matter. Don't worry about it. For now, just focus on quieting your mind. If you start seeing things, having visions, maybe you see a place and you see people, don't get too wrapped up in it. Just let whatever happens and whatever visions are coming, just let them come. Just Your only thing that you're trying to do is keep your mind quiet and still. Now, the other thing you need to do is how well we can communicate with spirit. The two-way conversation is based also on our vibrations. Spirits are at a higher vibration than we are. Angels are at even much higher vibrations. Ascended masters are at a much higher vibration than even, our spirit guides. How well we're able to communicate is simply based on how close we are to their vibrations. The further away we are, the more difficult it is. It's like you can have a conversation with someone standing across the street because you can yell. However, if they go a mile away and you're both still yelling, you may not be able to hear each other. So, vibration is the speed at which energy moves. So, the higher a level you're at, the higher your vibrations, the higher your energy is moving. So, to be able to effectively communicate with spirit guides, that is done easier the higher your vibrations are. Now, of course, that also means that, say you get high enough to be able to communicate with angels and ascended masters, that means you're not also going to be able to communicate with your regular lower level spirit guides, because your vibrations will be too high for that. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Because if you continue to grow, develop, and ascend, that is what should be eventually happening. So, to start out, we need to work on raising your vibrations. So, meditating will help a little bit with that. While you're meditating, your vibrations are raised. So, for that period of time you're meditating, your vibrations are raised and they're higher. However, we need to work a little bit more at raising your vibrations permanently. So I can recommend to you that you either begin a daily practice of using mantras, decrees, or prayers. Now, if you're going to use prayers, I recommend you, of course, you may choose to do a prayer that's a favorite of yours. Some people like using the Hail Mary prayer. I mean, I fluctuate between a couple. I do the Hail Mary prayer a lot, as well as the I Am Lord's Prayer. But then I also do, there are some mantras that I do, as well as decrees. Whichever one that you like and that you prefer, it's fine to go with whatever you want to. So if you like decrees, okay, go with that. And every day spend a period of time saying decrees. You don't have to be overly ambitious about it. You don't have to say them for hours and hours unless you're on a serious path to do some serious spiritual, development. But maybe 15-20 minutes a day would be good to start out with. And then also, I haven't mentioned chakra work yet. Chakras are your energy centers. The energy centers are controlling your aura. And the state of your aura also affects not only your vibrations, but what you're able to pick up and how sensitive you are to the energy around you. And by energy, I mean even energy that is that communication. So it is important that your chakras always be in a good state, clear and balanced. And by balance, I mean chakras, you can visualize them like discs that are going around yourself like a hula hoop. Even though that's not what they actually look like, it is okay if you visualize it that way. They each have a certain color, and they all spin clockwise around you, which means going to the right. Be very careful. Some people think that the chakras spin to the left, and this is not good, because just that misunderstanding or somebody telling you that. Unless you are involved in something dark, negative, unless you are involved in the dark arts, you do not want your chakras spinning to the left. Chakras must always spin to the right, clockwise. If they're spinning to the left, that means you can't attract negative energy. So it's very important, even if you're not going to do chakra work daily, you don't have to. But it is a good practice to at least maybe once a week sit down, spend 15 minutes visualizing each chakra spinning clockwise, fast, and in its color, beautiful and bright. So if it's the root chakra and it's red, you're going to visualize it spinning very fast, clockwise, and you're going to visualize it being a really bright candy apple red color. What you're doing is you're going to visualize that it's clear. You're going to visualize that it's bright, clear, clean, not muddied, not dark, not cloudy looking. So that's how you're going to clear them. It's actually very easy to do chakra work, and you can do this in meditation. You can go to my website. I have information on the chakras, their color, where they're located, and all you have to do is in meditation visualize them, like I said, as their color, nice and bright and clear, and spinning fast clockwise. And that is really all that's to doing chakra work. Visualization is very important. So even if you have a hard time visualizing them, don't worry. As you do it more and more, you'll get better and better with it. Now, as you do these things every day, doing 15 minutes of meditation, doing some practice to help you raise your vibrations, whether that's decrees, prayers, mantras, as well as periodically doing your chakra work, you will basically, your chakras will open, clear, and expand more and more over a period of time. So even if you're in the beginning not manifesting any psychic abilities, you will become clearer and clearer to the point where you will be able to at least manifest some abilities. Now, I don't know what they're going to be. For everybody, that's different. Like I said, my strongest ability that manifested was clairsentience. For you, it may be clairvoyance, sight. For somebody else, it may be clairaudience. Or you may manifest two of them fairly strongly. That's how you know which ones to work on first, which ones to focus on. Whatever manifest in the beginning and manifest the strongest, that's the one you want to focus on and that you want to work on. So if you have clairaudience manifesting the strongest, you don't want to purposely ignore that and instead work on trying to develop clairvoyance. You don't want to do that, because if you ignore the ability that's coming to the surface and manifesting, that one may go dormant, and then you may never really adequately develop the other one you're trying to develop and manifest. So basically, the best thinking to have about this is a more go with the flow type of thinking. Be willing to go with the flow. Be willing to go with what is happening and at the pace it's happening. I always tell people, stop pushing. A lot of people go through life just pushing. There is no reason to push. If you're having a hard time in life, stop pushing. Often people do this. Stop pushing and get more comfortable with what is. Get more comfortable with whatever you've got going on in your life. It's not always going to be good, that is true. But just understand things are always changing. It may not be good today, it'll be better tomorrow. Have a healthy, good attitude about things, and that will help you more than anything. Often I think that what I do the most for people, and people always say, how much I've helped them, but really I think that how I help them the most is by reminding them that everything is okay, that whatever is happening at any given time in their life, don't freak out about it. Just relax, go with the flow. If they're doing the right thing and they're working hard, they're going to reap the benefits of that. Maybe not as fast as they want to. Maybe it's going to happen in its own good time. But that's okay. What are you in a hurry for? Don't be in a hurry. Enjoy. It's like saying enjoy the ride. Be willing to enjoy the ride and not just getting there. Don't be that person that's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You know how annoying kids can be when they do that. Be willing to just enjoy the ride, because the experiences that you have along the way, these are going to be the things that you're really going to enjoy. They're going to make, the path so memorable for you and so enjoyable. And also, somewhere down the road, maybe you're meant to help someone else. And maybe these things that go on along the way, those are things that those experiences, you're going to be able to one day help somebody else with those same things. For everything, there's a reason. You may not know what it is, but there's a reason for everything. And be okay with not knowing what it is. You don't have to know everything. You definitely don't have to know everything to get to where you're going. Be okay with the things you don't know, and just enjoy the things that you do. Enjoy the understanding that you have. Don't worry about the understanding that you don't have it, because you will have it in good enough time. So that is all for this video. I've given you some things to work on, and you should work on them, at least, especially with the chakra work. At least plan to be working on regular chakra work. If you can do it daily, that would be great. Doing it 15 minutes a day. If you can do that, then I can tell you about 30 days of doing it 15 minutes a day, you should actually be ready to start really seriously working on psychic abilities, and that two-way conversation with your guides should come much easier then. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it's been helpful. Feel free to check out my website. There's a lot of posts there, a lot of information, a lot of what I've discussed here. That's SherryAndrea.com. Also, feel free to visit the membership site, SherrySpeaks.com. You can sign up for a free membership. You can read, with a free membership, you can read the blog, my journal, and you can also freely chat with others. So more and more people are signing up every day. So stop by, visit, sign up, register for a membership at this time. I am turning all memberships into free full access memberships. So you at this time, I am upgrading everyone for free. So make sure you do that as soon as possible so you can get your free membership. And I thank you for listening, and I hope this has been helpful to you. Feel free to leave me a comment, any question, anything that you didn't understand, that you need better understanding on. Feel free to leave me a comment, and I'll respond to you. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.